Day 1 The Chicago concert once again brought an unexpected moment from Jimin and Jungkook. Right in the middle of a performance that was supposed to be serious and high energy, the two made the atmosphere even livelier when the stage camera began focusing on them. Their playful teasing in front of the lens instantly became one of the most laughter-inducing moments for the audience. It all started when a large stage camera captured Jimin for a close-up on the stadium's giant screen. Realizing he was the center of attention, Jimin prepared to give his best pose. However, before he could show off his signature charismatic expression, Jungkook suddenly popped up nearby, seemingly unwilling to let Jimin enjoy the frame alone. Jungkook began pulling various playful antics right in front of the camera. As Jimin tried to maintain his handsome posture, Jungkook kept moving into the frame or making funny faces beside him. As a result, the big screen meant for a Jimin close-up turned into a mini-stage for the two of them competing for attention. What made the moment even funnier was Jimin's reaction. Instead of sticking to his pose, Jimin was seen trying to nudge or direct the camera back onto himself. Yet Jungkook seemed to read his every move, stepping back into the shot every single time. This playful tug-of-war made it look like they were playing a game with the cameraman. It didn't stop there. Jungkook even did a move that completely blocked Jimin's face from the camera view. Jimin tried to dodge while keeping a wide smile. That spontaneous interaction filled the giant screen with a rapid series of changing expressions, sending the stadium crowd into a frenzy. For the fans inside the stadium, it felt like watching an impromptu posing war. Jimin wanted to deliver his best look to the camera, while Jungkook saw it as the perfect opportunity to tease his fellow member. Neither seemed to care who ended up owning the frame, as long as it made the concert more fun. This moment highlighted the playful side of Jimin and Jungkook on stage. Amidst a tight concert schedule and demanding choreography, they still found time for a natural, unscripted interaction. Precisely because it was not part of the main routine, this camera-stealing moment became one of the most memorable highlights of Chicago Day 1. Ultimately, it was not about who managed to claim the camera, but how Jimin and Jungkook turned a single camera shot into a short comedy routine in the middle of a concert. As their faces alternately filled the big screen, the crowd's laughter and cheers grew louder. This simple act proved once again that even a basic camera close-up can turn into pure entertainment when Jimin and Jungkook start teasing each other. It wasn't just Jimin and Jungkook who captured everyone's attention. The stage cameraman seemed caught up in their game as well. Every time the camera managed to lock onto one member, the other found a way to jump into the frame. This constant back and forth transformed a simple camera focal point into a hilarious, spontaneous spectacle. The camera initially seemed focused solely on Jimin. Noticing the close-up, Jimin seized the opportunity to give his best pose to the fans, switching to a charismatic look ready to deliver an iconic screen moment. However, before Jimin could fully enjoy the spotlight, Jungkook suddenly appeared from the side of the frame, causing the camera's focus to shift automatically. Instead of getting a solo close-up of Jimin, the cameraman had to follow Jungkook, who was already starting his playful antics. Jimin wasn't about to give up easily. As the camera swung toward Jungkook, Jimin moved back into view to reclaim the attention. Reading the room, Jungkook responded by stepping back into the camera area, pulling subtle moves that made the situation delightfully chaotic. From the audience's point of view, the cameraman seemed to have the hardest job of the night. The camera moved to follow whoever was most active, but every time the focus shifted, the other member would pop up to steal the spotlight again. Consequently, the Chicago Stadium screen continuously displayed a rapid stream of changing positions and expressions from both Jimin and Jungkook. What made it so entertaining was how much they both enjoyed the game. Jimin tried his best to hold the camera's focus, while Jungkook seemed to deliberately test the cameraman's patience by popping up at the most unexpected times. Rather than stopping, both got deeper into the joke. The fans became delighted victims of the game. Every time Jimin appeared on the large screen, cheers erupted. Whenever Jungkook burst in to mess up the shot, laughter and screams broke out all over again. The rapid shifts kept the audience guessing who would show up on screen next. This interaction showed how a single camera lens can become a major source of fun when Jimin and Jungkook share a frame. There was no pressure to follow a set routine. Everything felt entirely spontaneous, with the cameraman simply trying to track wherever the two moved. In the end, the stage cameraman was likely the busiest person during this little game, constantly panning between Jimin and Jungkook as they took turns stealing the spotlight, while thousands of fans thoroughly enjoyed every frame swap. From a simple close-up, the two managed to transform the giant screen into a playful game of camera chase, making day one in Chicago feel even more exciting and unpredictable. Jimin clearly knew the camera was looking for him, but as he settled into his best pose, Jungkook arrived as a hilarious distractor. The sudden shift in mood happened so fast that fans waiting for a cool Jimin close-up were instead treated to a comedy routine. As soon as Jimin's face hit the big screen, he flashed a confident look, using his gaze and posture to show off his charismatic side to the thousands in attendance. He looked completely ready to own the frame, well aware of how much fans treasure these screen moments. Jungkook, however, had other plans. Approaching from Jimin's side, he stepped right into the camera path, instantly splitting the crowd's attention. Even while Jimin tried to maintain his cool posture, Jungkook took up the same space, ensuring the close-up was no longer a solo shot. Things grew even funnier when Jungkook pulled a move that partially covered Jimin's face. Jimin, had been trying so hard to keep a handsome, serious expression, couldn't hold back his reaction. He looked ready to protest Jungkook's antics, but the smile breaking across his face made the moment even more endearing. Far from stopping after getting a reaction, Jungkook seemed to enjoy the opportunity even more. Every time Jimin attempted to face the camera again, Jungkook found a new way to interfere. This quick back-and-forth forced Jimin to drop his charismatic look multiple times, breaking into laughter over his bandmate's silly behavior. The giant display screen played a key role in making the moment land. Every expression from Jimin and Jungkook was crystal clear, allowing fans in every corner of the stadium to follow along. Even simple actions like stepping closer, dodging, or squeezing into the frame felt twice as funny scaled up on the big screen. Interestingly, fan attention drifted away from Jimin's original cool pose and focused entirely on how he reacted to being teased. Their natural chemistry shone through the way they responded to each other without needing words, making the whole moment feel completely genuine. In the end, Jimin got his camera time, but Jungkook successfully turned the close-up into a shared, far more entertaining memory. The handsome pose Jimin had prepared dissolved into a friendly banner session on the giant screen, giving fans at Chicago Day One a highlight that felt alive and full of delightful surprises. Within seconds, an atmosphere that started as a charismatic solo close-up turned into a comedic scene. Ready to deliver a cool pose, Jimin instead had to deal with Jungkook's sudden wave of antics. The shift happened so fast that the audience barely had time to register Jimin's initial posture before their attention was hijacked by the duo's playful dynamic. Jimin had looked completely ready to make the most of his camera moment. With a confident expression, he faced the lens, offering a pose that seemed tailored for the big screen. It was set to be a classic showcase of his charisma, but Jungkook's sudden intrusion flipped the script. Jungkook popped into the frame, snatching a piece of the spotlight. Rather than just standing beside Jimin, he pulled moves that instantly shattered the serious tone. Jimin then tried to adjust his position so his face would stay visible, creating the funny impression that he was trying to reclaim his stage from Jungkook. This playful battle for the camera took place in an atmosphere full of jokes. Every time Jimin found a good angle, Jungkook did something new to provoke a reaction. Unable to keep up the serious facade, Jimin eventually burst out laughing at Jungkook's unpredictable behavior. The climax came when Jungkook pulled another goofy face right in front of the lens. That final act broke Jimin's charismatic composure entirely, sending him into full-blown laughter. Seeing his cool pose melt away into a genuine, unscripted reaction became the best part of the whole sequence for the audience. The stadium roared with cheers as the giant screen captured every second of their pose war. Fans thoroughly enjoyed the chaotic energy. It no longer mattered which member the camera was supposed to be tracking, as everyone was fully invested in how Jimin and Jungkook teased and reacted to one another. Ultimately, The camera chose the safest solution by capturing both Jimin and Jungkook together. Finding themselves sharing the same frame, they gave the crowd a moment far more memorable than a standard individual close-up. Seeing those two contrasting expressions side by side on one massive screen brought down the house, drawing thunderous cheers from the entire stadium.